And welcome everyone to another Nerd TV broadcast, this time coming at you from a new home from the RSR Next Generation Cup Series for the Best One Tire and Service presents the 213 Simware 225 from the simulated and virtual Atlanta Motor Super Speedway. Proud to be here, and I brought some good friends with us here tonight. Myself, Mr. Jeremy Stanley, Jason Rockefeller to my right, and then we got Mr. Dustin Loxton who's going to be doing all the production behind the scenes. How are you two doing tonight?
Well, I'm doing really good. Also, welcome everybody to Nerd TV. If you're a first-time viewer, can't wait to see what you guys, or can't wait to show you guys what we have in store for you today. Jeremy and I have been having a blast calling races over the past few months. Dustin's had a blast dealing with my butt, giving all the shots and telling him with camera angles and whatnot. But we also call him Walter. I can't wait to see what these RSR guys can do. I mean, this is a brand new series for us. We just called a race here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway yesterday night over for the FTSR Mach 1 Performance Cup Series. That was one heck of a race. I expect the same thing here tonight, but the one thing from tonight compared to yesterday night, Jeremy, is it's going to be a lot shorter distance than what we had last night.
Yeah, 40 laps shorter. We saw 130 laps here. I think there was only one caution produced on the track, and it was excellent side-by-side racing the entire night. And a little bit shorter distance here, and being a new home, there's a lot of different things to expect. Shorter racing, you know, you got to get your positions in order quickly. Being a super speedway, you want to, maximize that really short stint on stage one. There's only one stage coming at you guys here for the 2023 B season for the RSR series. It's going to come at you quick at lap 25, and you have to get back together, and then 60 laps from there on forward. So probably one green flag pit stop if those guys go the whole distance. But it's going to be awesome to watch. And Dustin, how are you feeling for tonight?
I tell you what, I loved watching these cars at Atlanta yesterday at FTSR. I expect the same thing tonight. Kind of curious to see if we're going to see kind of the same issues we've seen throughout officials as well. Again, dual line racing here because it does have that super speedway package. Are they going to have an issue with it drifting up towards that wall and getting that, wall checked, wall glued? We've seen that in an issue in a couple other league races as well. So something to, to kind of stay on top of it. But I'm expecting to see racing very similar to plate racing. These cars here seem to, for the most part, gel pretty well with this new configuration. So I'm expecting some good stuff tonight.
Yeah, you mentioned that push there. We noticed a lot yesterday. If you tuned in yesterday to the Nerd TV broadcast for the FTSR guys, if they were running the middle of the upper half of the track, about midway through the run, those tires would start to give out, and a lot of guys would push up a half a lane. And we saw multiple cars. I think I counted maybe 9 to 10 different ones that had wall glue instances, especially entering turn 3. So that might be a tricky place there to watch tonight. Looking at the qualifying board right now, we got just under 1 minute left in this qualifying session. To kick off the 2023 B season for RSR. Matt Hayden right now sitting on top of the charts, P1 at a 31.307, very similar times that we saw yesterday. And
blistering fast.
Yeah, blistering fast for sure. Look how many guys are in the 0.3 bracket. We go all the way down to 24th place as the last guy within that same 10th. So this is an open setup league. So everyone has their setups. It looks like pretty well dialed, at least for the qualifying session.
Yeah, and the great thing to think about this is when it comes to these open setups, especially on these super speedway type tapered space or racetracks like Daytona, Talladega, and now Atlanta Motor Speedway, is you could either sacrifice a little bit of qualifying speed for that speed when you're in the pack and whatnot, because we've seen that time and time again. Whether it be the Penske guys, we've seen them on the super speedways, not too good when it comes to qualifying, but they are always blistering fast when it comes to the race, compared to Hendrick, where they're very fast in qualifying, but usually they sacrifice a little bit of race speed. But depending on what your strategy is, you want to make sure that obviously you have a car, good enough underneath you, because handling is going to be a big, big deal tonight, especially when the tires start wearing out after about 20 to 25 laps.
Yeah, tire wear is a thing here. A mile and a half, you have a tight turn radius, and you're going 180 miles an hour in the corners. So your tires will fade even on a brand new surface. But these guys are on the grid. We're going to get our faces off the screen and turn in full screen here to go down the starting order here for tonight's Atlanta race. That's 90 laps. Like I said, stage break coming at 25. So Matt Hayden's going to be starting this thing in P1. Adam Broughton's going to be starting in second. Steve Potter in third. Richard Gonzalez in fourth. Nolan Potter in fifth. Sixth place belongs to Rusty Modesty. Seventh place, Brian Fine. Eighth, Tony Ludi. Ninth place going to be Blake Howell. And tonight's top 10 guy is Michael Carter.
We're going to try to not butcher these names the best we can. Starting 11th, Kane Lee in the 32 Toyota. Starting 12th, you have Zach Schreitenethel. That's going to be a hard name to pronounce. 13th tonight, you have Nathan Campbell right there in his 45 Toyota. 14th, you have Brock Potter in the number 4 machine. Starting 15th tonight, you have Stephen Baldwin Jr. in the 18. Starting 16th, you have Kevin Ruff in the 99. 17th, Ryan Bean, last season's in 2023 season A, your champion, won 10 races. He's going to be one to look out for in part 2 this season. And then 18th, you have Andrew Little in the 68 machine. 19th, James Cotrone right there, the 38 machine. And then starting 20th is Matt O'Broke in the 16.
21st place is going to be Justin Hendry. 22nd, James Fitzmaurice. 23rd, Harold Rothery. 24th, Bob Fitzpatrick. 25th, Harold Watkins. 26th, Jerry Culver. 27th, Michael Sheffield. 28th, Alexander Hodge. 29th, Alonzo King. 30th, Stephen Rake. 31st, Anthony Youngs. 32nd, Stan Carnathan. 33rd, James Wright. And tonight's last guy in the field, 34th place, going to be Michael Martino. And these guys are going to have one pace lap to get together here, and we're going to kick this thing off for us here at Nerd TV, bringing RSR to you live on Facebook, YouTube, and the new kick.com there. So give us a follow on Nerditudes on all 3 platforms, and join us on the chats. If you are new to the RSR, new to us, period, we keep the chats open and try to look at those. So anytime you want to throw something out at us, if I can get a chance to look at it, we'll go ahead and call you up.
So it's going to be a really good race tonight, Jeremy. Like we said earlier, we saw a really good race last night for the FTSR boys. 34 cars ready to tackle on the 1.54-mile tri-oval here at Atlanta Motor Speedway, expecting that outside lane to be the dominant lane. But depending on how tire wear might be, you never know. You might see that bottom lane come in late in the runs on tires. We'll have to find out and see, but they're coming to the green this time by.
And pace car is down. Matt Hayden's going to lead this thing off, waiting for the green flag. These guys go at the restart zone. Green flag is out. The Atlanta opening race here for the 2023B is underway.
And down into turn number 1, Matt Hayden. Great start for him, but he's going to jump all the way back to what looks to be, I believe that is the 94 of Stephen Potter right there. He'll check up the inside lane a little bit, open up the door for Adam Boats in there. In the number 10 machine, outside lanes a little bit more formulated than the bottom here as they come into 3.
Yeah, single car leading right now. Matt Hayden leading the way. The 9 on the outside is going to be leading, trying to get that momentum started. We saw it last night here where this outside middle lane part of this racetrack is definitely the place to be, especially on the long run, it seemed like. But the short run, you get so much grip extra up there too. So if you got, the same amount of cars on the top and bottom of this track, expect that top side to gain some momentum, but you have to be a little closer to the back bumper to get that extra speed out of the car, or else the inside line will prevail.
Too, to notice about these new next-gen cars is obviously the way that they handle in the pack. A lot of drivers, whether it be in the real world or the sim world, complain that these cars, they're not really as good handling-wise, and also in the draft when it comes to the super speedway type racetracks. You see everybody start to kind of file out here, heading through 1 and 2, but getting formulated off turn number 2 this time by. Compared to what the Gen 6 car ones, you were able to suck up really, really easily as long as you had help. In this one, it's really hard to suck up to the back bumper as we ride on board the number 10 of Adam Boughton here. Coming off turn number 4, that's Matt Hayden right in his rearview mirror, looking at that beautiful Chevy Camaro ZL1 nose. It's going to be really hard to suck up to somebody here tonight, and you're really going to have help behind you if you want to make any move remotely, especially later on in a race.
Yeah, pay attention to the number 5, Matt Hayden, right here in second place now behind Adam Broughton. What you're saying, it's hard to get behind the guy. These next-gen cars have this air bubble that you just cannot get to the bumper unless you have assistance from the guy behind you. And there's about 3 car lengths of space between the 5 and the 94 here as they head off to the front stretch to enter lap number 5. And without that help, he's going to be stuck. Can't get to the bumper to tag him or anything. And that's all going to help the whole rest of the field, maintain their pace behind the leaders. quickly jump into the chat here on Facebook. I got Chuck Beal saying, let's go. Love the new racing on this track. I'm going to absolutely agree with you. I loved old Atlanta, but I also love this new Atlanta, so I'm indifferent on which version I prefer. Richard Gonzalez, I'll say, loving the broadcast. Hopefully you enjoy the show. We definitely will, that's for sure. Hopefully you guys enjoy the product that we're going to bring to you for 2023B. And lastly, My Three Sons Antique and Vintage, saying good luck, Jerry Culver. We got some fans cheering for the drivers out here tonight. Glad to see it and bring on the fan base, man. We'll love to shout you out.
Yeah, it's always nice to see new fans, old fans, whether or not. Welcome to Nerd TV. This is what we do best. We love seeing these cars rip around any racetrack. As long as it's got 4 wheels, heck, it could have 2 wheels, it could have 1 wheel. It doesn't matter. We love calling it over here at Nerd TV. And these guys are getting racy. Just 8 laps in, Jeremy. You got to think to yourself, too, 90 laps. That goes by in a hurry. I was talking about last night that these guys were clocking in about 29 to 30-second lap times around this 1.54 mile, track. So it's going to be really difficult to get up to the front unless you have help. You have to be aggressive, but not too aggressive, because when you look at it, we're already coming to lap 10 here in just a couple laps. That's going to be only about 80 laps to go. So you cut that time in half. I mean, that's practically only about 40 minutes, so it's going to be really hard to get up to the front. You're going to have the most help you can get if you want to make passes and get up to the lead.
And what I've noticed right now is that we got quickly 2 packs, right? The pack 2 about 20th on back is kind of single filed. That's that pack that's just kind of cautiously waiting for the stage break to possibly happen, and then, get to go with your teammates, figure out tire strategy and how much fuel you actually have in the car after 25 laps. And you got these guys in the front here, a lot more numbers on the bottom than what we saw last night, and it's actually helping this inside lane. The guy on the top right now in the Toyota Camry, he right now, that'd be the, looks like the 34 there. He's struggling right now, Jason. He's trying to get past the 4th place car, the 57 there of Brian Fine, and just cannot do it. He gets the side drive off the 26, gets really close to him off a corner exit right there. But after he gets to the door panel, maybe slightly past his nose, he just can't progress any further.
So you got to look at the guy behind him, too. You don't really want to push all that much, especially in the corners. Down the straightaways is even a huge risk because there's not a lot of time. So if you want to give that push, as he does right now going into 3, and lays off, very, very smart driving there by the driver behind the 34 machine. I believe that looks to be Rusty Modsty right there in the number 6 machine, if I'm correct. Or no, that's not. That's Richard Gonzalez, I believe. There's so many. Yes, it was Richard Gonzalez. You see him right there, closing in on the back bumper of the Toyota, laying off in the corners, just kind of ride around here in the corners, trying to side draft. You see the 34 down the back straight, but then here he goes. Big push behind him. He'll try to get to the rear bumper. You see the diffuser hanging down low. Not enough momentum to get to the bumper there. They get a lot of momentum off these corners. So if the 34 wants to try to get back up to the front of the field, he's going to have to side draft majorly. He's already trying to pass that 94 of Stephen Potter right there. So we'll have to see as this race progresses, what's going to be the best line. We talked about, too, last night outside, very good early on. And then all of a sudden the bottom would kind of come in late in the run because of tire wear. You just couldn't turn the car, as best as you could on earlier, not really worn out tires. And then you slide up to the wall. We saw a lot of guys getting up into it. You're going to have to watch that, especially if you're a driver who's going to be up on that outside lane here all night.
Yeah, I noticed the 34 and the 94. These are, I'm assuming brothers here, Nolan Potter and Steve Potter. Correct me if I'm wrong there, but these guys are running hard. Last lap there on the front stretch, they actually tagged each other's door panel there, not giving an inch, even though they're running up in the front and have the same last name, which I don't know who won the war there on the back windshield. Steve Potter gets his full name, and then Nolan just only gets his last name. But either way, the 34 is trying his best. He was able to get around the 57, but now he's gridlocked here in between 3rd and 4th place. The first 2, Matt Hayden and Adam Broughton, they're on a different level right now as far as this quick early run speed. They're just maintaining that whole car length advantage over the 94, and they're not letting up there on the bottom.
Yeah, nobody's letting up on the bottom right now, but you're going to see here when they come out of turn 4, everybody's got to be really careful because everybody right here looks to be pretty straight. Now watch when they work off turn 4 because of how fast you're going off the corner. Look at them all fan out, almost 3 wide there. You see one driver behind the number 6 of Rusty Monsty. That's the number 8 of Anthony Ludi right there. He was kind of looking to the outside, looking to go 3 wide, and then obviously had the wits in his brain, decided to tuck back in line. Nice move by him. That bottom lane, though, Jeremy, just looks a lot better than that top lane does. You see the 94 peak out to the outside, or excuse me, that's the 9, I believe, to the outside right there off turn number 3. Not enough momentum, though, to get around the number 94.
Yeah, still struggling here to get any momentum past third place on this top side. So right now it's kind of flip-flop from what we saw last night. The inside at the moment is the early and the best way to be. We got 10 laps left before we hit stage break, Jason. So like I said, it's a quick 25-lap stint here for the only stage break in the second season of 2023. They had 2 stage breaks last season. We're going to bring it to 1 this time. So as we got 9 laps to go on the stage, quick jump to the chats on the YouTube side, seeing Jasmine saying, let's get racing. That's what we're here for. And right now, RSR so far is providing nothing but excellent racing here at Atlanta.
Yeah, it's always nice. You know, a lot of guys like myself, you know, they're like, I really like the old Atlanta, but whoa, look at this move right out of line. That's the number, I believe that's the 57 right there, Brian Fine. He's doing just fine right now because clearly he went up to the outside. We're going to make a lot of Brian being fine jokes since that's his last name probably all season long. He made a big move all the way up to the top of the racetrack, Jeremy. That's just a product of guys wanting to go. They don't want to sit in line long enough. And this is actually helping that outside lane. Look at them. They were about 5-6 car lengths back from the leader. And heck, they might even go to the lead here down the back straightaway. Brian Fine out front right now over the 5 of Matt Hayden and the 10 of Adam Bowden now as they work their way into 3 and 4. I think Brian Fine's going to be clear the 10, and he is. The question is, will he jump down?
He found a fine line right now on the top side here as he jumps up, and all of a sudden this outside just gets huge momentum. But as I say that, he jumps to the bottom there as soon as he clears the 10 of Adam Broughton. So that's going to be your second lead change of the evening on lap 19. So Brian out to the front. Now the 34 is back to leading the outside. Can he carry that momentum that was now shifted to the top? Right now, he's still holding the door panel here coming off of turn number 4. It's going to be a drag race to who's going to lead this lap, and I think Nolan Potter is going to get it there by 25/100ths of a second that time. Third lead change this evening on lap 20.
And they're still double wide right now, 2 by 2 by 2 all throughout the pack until you get to that single file pack way in the back. This is looking just like Daytona Talladega. But just you wait, once they hit 2 laps to go, 1 lap to go in this stage, you're going to see guys trying to get out of line. Like you saw the 9 of Richard Gonzalez right there in the middle of 3 and 4. Kind of got out of line, but just a product of these tires getting loose. You just see the handling starting to go away on some of these race cars. Almost dead even at the line that time around. Looked like Nolan Potter led that lap that time around, but as they work their way off too, Brian Fine, Nolan Potter still side by side duking it out down the back straightaway.
Excellent job here, and yeah, the tire wear is probably going to start kicking in. These guys are running full throttle, it seems like, each and every single lap to the most that they can get out of these cars. We're coming down to 4 laps to go here to end stage 1 here, and the number 9 this time of Richard Gonzalez, who's going to try to get past the 57 and the 34, who's jumped down to the bottom, which is kind of reminiscent of what we saw yesterday, but in reverse. The guys were trying to jump up to the top afterwards, but no, these guys want now to the bottom because it feels like that is where the momentum is at overall. But if you can get enough side draft off the guy on the inside, you can slow him up enough and propel yourself. We've already seen that twice, as the number 9 of Gonzalez this time is going to try to do the same thing off of 4, just like the 34 did to the 57 2 laps ago. He's going to take the lead for your 4th lead change this evening.
And now the question becomes, will he jump down? No, he'll stick up to the top side with Rusty there in the number 6 machine as they work their way off turn number 2, this time by down the back straightaway. Just 2.5 laps to go. Gonzalez starts to surge out ahead. He'll jump down to the bottom of the racetrack, but now the 6 in the Ford Mustang leading over the 8 of Anthony Ludi here off turn number 4. Gonzalez has a mirror full of Nolan Potter this time by at the line. 2 laps to go on the stage. He gets out of line a bit. This is going to enable the top side to get a run here into 1.
Little checkup by the 24 down the front straightaway, so momentarily the inside's got a little bit more head of steam coming off of turn number 2 this time. 2, almost 3 cars now are going to be single file down the back straightaway leading this thing, but the number 9 is getting huge help by now by Nolan Potter in the 34 entering 3.
Yeah, now that those bottom three drivers starting to break away a little bit. The 6 went a little wide there off turn 4. Creates a checkup. Hook in the middle of the trioval. One car around. Big crash here right past the start-finish line. That's the 81 machine or the 80 machine right there. Other drivers involved. Everybody's scrambling to try to get around there. Coming down the front straightaway, that's Stephen Baldwin Jr. Other drivers involved. You had to think, Jeremy, something was going to happen like that coming to the 1 lap to go.
So we're watching here on the Nerd TV replay. The 38, the 23 looks like caused contact, and then it hooks to 68 as the bump draft kind of propelled them into the back of the 68. Turns them around in front of the field as they get the white flag at the stage here. And it starts off with just 2 or 3 cars, and then you just see cars piling in, super speedway style. You just can't avoid it. You see the one slam the outside there wall right at the second kink on the front straightaway. Quite a few other cars involved. The number 7 as well of Hardy Rothery. I think about a total of 9 to 10 involved in this wreck.
Yeah, that was just a product of stage racing, and good thing, honestly. I'm a big believer in having only one stage when it comes to the stage racing because it provides a lot of good racing and strategy when it comes to later on when you get that longer stage. But yeah, that was just a product of everybody checking up. You saw the 6 get out of line there down the front straightaway, kind of started to shove up, and now we're riding on board with one of the other cars here. You see him go down to the inside. Another Potter right there to the inside of the 18. Just gets tagged a little bit in the door. Able to go through the grass. The 68 around right there. Once the checkup started, lifted up off the ground. Roof set it back down. And everybody was just scrambling. Lots of drivers that probably could have had something happen there. And remember, no fast repairs here over in the RSR Next Generation Cup Series. So some of these guys did not want to see that happen there at the back of the field.
Yeah, absolutely not here. Is we're going to try to get on board with as many people as we can here at this big wreck. And I think this is Ryan Bean, your last season champion, going to the inside here, looking at the number 80, the number 7, and everybody else on the top there. As the guys on the inside are dirt tracking it, jumping through the hills. And, oh, you got a little contact there on the door panel there. You saw the fender momentarily on the left rear quarter panel just kind of push in, push right back out. So no harm, no foul to Ryan's car.
Yeah, and he only just got a little bit of a dent on the left rear quarter panel right there. Not going to be that big of a deal. I'm sure he'll probably maybe pit. And it doesn't look like he has those, sitting 20th. Here's another view right here. Good avoidance by another driver all the way to the inside of the grass there. And that was Zach going down through the grass right there. Good job to avoid all that carnage. Just held a good enough line to get all the way through that. But there we go, 68 in front of the field, turned up in the air, and then there you go, right there, right through the grass goes the number 2 machine of Zach Schrittenthal. So good job by him to avoid all that wreck, along with some of the other guys like Ryan Bean, some of the other ones.
Yeah, I don't know if our producer Dustin can backtrack a couple laps, but the last place car in the field right now, Stan Carnathan, also had an issue unrelated to that wreck coming through the front stretch entering turn 1. I guess the cat got on the keyboard on lap 23, and his car got sent directly to the infield and slams the outside wall too. So another car also involved, not directly in this one, but so about 10 cars or so are going to be damaged here as we're going to come to stage 2. I do believe that was the end of the stage. So I guess we would crown the number 9 there with that stage win, but we're going to see on the Nerd TV replay this slam to the outside wall right there. You caught the very tail end of it. He almost clipped the guy right in front of him. That was so close. We're going to do a quick little rewind as he goes through the front straightaway just fine, and then just lets go of everything, and then comes up and just boom.
You want to know what I honestly think what that was there, Jeremy? I think something probably happened to his wheel more than likely. I think it probably disconnected, and then all of a sudden everything just started going haywire for him, and then realizing heading into 1, something had happened because he was already starting to turn into the corner. And the next thing you know, all of a sudden that car just jumps straight to the apron, slams the outside wall. I've been a victim of that. I've had that happen to me at the iRacing Super Speedway, also formerly known as the Coca-Cola Super Speedway for all you NR 2003 fans back in the day. Yeah, that happens sometimes, unfortunately. Technology obviously isn't, so advanced like everybody thinks sometimes. There's obviously problems here and there. There's software issues. It's happened to all of us. It's happened to us at least once. So I could say that I know what that's like, and it's not a very good feeling. It's very frustrating.
Yeah, the technology gets so good, right? But that requires additional coding. So if there's one hiccup in the code line, all of a sudden you got a bunch of others to kind of go through, and it can be challenging at times. But these guys are back up line 2 by 2 here. We got 1 lap to go before we're going to start stage number 2. The number 9, Richard Gonzalez. They're in the Fanatec Chevrolet Camaro, is going to get this thing underway here in just 3/4 of a lap. Jump into the chats real quick before we see the green flag. Chuck Beal back on there saying we need a third lane. I know that was a few laps ago, but it's very tricky at this track, only being 42 feet across from the wall down to the apron line. So you can do 3 wide. You just got to make sure you have an awesome wheel underneath you to maintain that line. Then we also see Michelle Rittenberry saying good luck, Calvin or Calvin Ruff. My son's named Calvin, so I'm gonna get that mixed up all night long probably. And then also let's go Simware, and then got a couple of Aird's iRacing paints for the 57 of Brian Fine and the 85 of Justin Hendry. That is Stephen Ayers. I guess one of the painters out there for tonight's field. So good paints out there, dude.
Yeah, there's a lot of great paints out here tonight. I love that 6 scheme in particular. Obviously, looking like Michael Self's ARCA car over from Veneriti Motorsports. You say Dynacare also throwing it back to the Pixar world there with Dynaco and whatnot. So that's such a 6 scheme. I also love the 10 scheme, but they're rolling here, coming through the Geico restart zone.
And green flag is out. These guys have to wait in that side of that zone to get going here. And the 9 does not get the start that he wants, but the 34 of Nolan Potter with the 6 lead chains here is going to quickly dive to the bottom. The 57 of Brian Fine really wanted to do the same thing, but Richard just barely got to his quarter panel before making the move. He's going to have to stay on the top and lead the charge here on the top.
Yeah, but he's got a Ford right behind him, and obviously we all know the Fords are the best at pushing, but look at the block there by the 34 of Nolan Potter, stacks up the top lane. That's going to enable Richard Gonzalez and the number 9 Fanatec Camaro to go to the bottom. He's got the 10 right in tow behind him, along with the 5 Chevy, and then up at the top, it's a Toyota, a Chevy, and a Ford right now. So the bottom rolling just a little bit better due to the 34 jumping up top, but I'm sure they're going to be back up at the front in no time.
That was a questionable move in my book. If you're going to block a line, you got to go down to the bottom. If you move up the track, you're going to slow up your speed by climbing the hill, and then the guy on the inside just has all the momentum. And for 1 lap, Richard pulled out really quick, right? And now the momentum's back to the top as it just consistently shifts. 8 lead chains the 9th. You see the 57 and 34 jump back to the bottom of the track. Now it's going to leave the number 6 of Rusty Modesty to run the top.
Yeah, and see, here's the thing too with the blocking when it comes, especially here at Atlanta Motor Speedway compared to Daytona and Talladega, you don't have a lot of time to react, and everything is happening so quick because you're only on a 1.5-mile track. I see one driver almost getting put 3 wide there in the back, right next to the 23. I believe that is the 45 of Nathan Campbell right there, or I believe it might be Steve Potter, if I'm correct right there. One driver almost getting put 3 wide. Back to my point, it's so hard to block with these cars. It's so hard to block the runs. You have to be smart with it. If you're not smart with it, you can create chaos, and ultimately that can also lead to rivalries as well.
100% there. And jumping back to the chats, Mitchell Owens on YouTube saying great broadcast, appreciate the heads up. Over 25 concurrent live streamers right now, so much appreciated here as we're on lap 34 of schedule 90. 2 green-white checkered attempts here tonight if we have to go to that extra amount. They will bring it to you here. But Jason, I am really surprised right now. This inside line is still doing it even after the pit stops have happened. And it looks like almost the inside has got more momentum than the first stage.
Yeah, for sure. I just think, honestly, that they're a lot more formulated because of everybody jumping up to the top and starting to cut off lines and runs and whatnot. We just saw about 2 or 3 drivers jump up to the top, so maybe they can start to make their way towards the front. You see right there the 45, Nathan Campbell, he and also Kevin Ruff. Gosh, it's so hard to pronounce some of these names sometimes. This is new for us. It's going to take us a while to get used to, but they're finally starting to make their way up to the front, currently sitting 5th and 6th. 2 of the biggest movers of the race besides Harold Watkins, who's plus 11 back at 14th, and also Anthony Youngs there in the number 54 sitting in P20 right now. Back up at the front of the field, that bottom lane just continues to be dumb.
You guys
going
continue
to
to
do their
cycle through
magic
here
and start
midway.
making their way up to the front.
Quick question on the chats there, running cycling for you. So you're going to see 11 through 20, then 21 through 30. It just goes kind of quick there, but it does definitely show it for sure. So just keep your eye out on that. But as these guys are going to wind down some laps, we're going to do our first session here at RSR for turn up in volume. And we're going to let you guys listen to the sound of these next-gen cars go around the simulated Atlanta Motor Speedway. And back to full screen action there. That was the turn up the tune segment where we kind of just let you listen to the cars here, give us a little, or give you guys a little break from our voices rather. But this action on the track, Jason, is still has not let down, other than the top side all of a sudden has found the speed at the moment, complete shift from just 10 laps prior. The 57 of Brian Fine, the number 5 of Matt Hayden, and the number 6 of Rusty Modesty leading this thing 1, 2, 3 on the top.
Yeah, they're running 1, 2, 3 on the top right now, and that top lane has been formulated a lot better than that bottom was just a handful of laps ago. But you could see the 10 right there of Adam Bowden and the Kevin Ruff and the number 99 machine. He is pushing the heck out of them here down the back straightaway. The Indiana native is just trying to make his way back up towards the front. The 57 of Brian Fine. That wasn't such a fine move right there. Chops the 10 off, entering turn number 3. Lap car in the way, gets respectfully out of the way, heads up driving there by, I believe, Harold Rutherly, or one of the other drivers there. But heads up driving there. You want to make sure that you're not in the way of these guys coming at a head of speed, especially at Atlanta Motor Speedway, where everything is so tight, so fast, and you're getting around the racetrack at a lot shorter distance and a lot faster time.
Yeah, we saw just yesterday, we saw one lap car run the top half of the track through 3 and 4, and it caused a pretty decent wreck yesterday. So lap cars at this track can be very tricky, but thankfully they caught them right at the front stretch, had all that apron to work with to get himself slowed up, let everybody by, merge back onto the track safely, which is going to be no harm, no foul to everyone Now currently run down the backstretch here on lap 46. Jumping to the chats, Jason, you have a shout out from Jasmine, continuous fan of yours, now saying Rocky here is commentator of the year. So you've only been with us for a few months and you're already getting the trophy, man.
I don't know about that one. I try the best that I can do, but we have a great duo, me and you up here in the booth. And also, oh, we got a crash heading into turn one. Big crash. Couple of guys up and into the wall. Looks like Kane Lee, Harold Watkins, other guys possibly up into the wall. I was wondering why, when we were having that little conversation there, why I started to see the field kind of start to break apart and randomly start going down to the bottom, top of the line, middle of the racetrack. All of a sudden, we're going to take a look right here. Oh, and the 23 just gets into the 32, collects another driver right there, heading into the corner. Other drivers involved. You see, I believe, another driver that might be Jerry Culver, I believe. We're going to take another look here.
Yeah,
the 23 just comes right in the middle there, Jeremy.
This actually was potentially two wrecks there. The 23 hits the 32 coming off the second part of the dogleg there on the front straightaway. Sends the 10 around with them. So 3 cars there. You see the 23 just, bam, heavy impact to the outside retaining wall there in turn number 1, that being the driver of Harold Watkins. You see the 1 coming through, getting involved in this one. The 75 loses his hood, so massive damage to Michael Martino as well. And there was almost another incident right in front of them where the 24 got tagged by the 8 there on the front stretch. He saved it, thankfully. But yeah, it looks like 4 or 5 cars with damage in this one, bringing up the second caution presented by Roasted Gems Coffee.
Yeah, that was just a product of guys trying to check up right there going into turn number 1. And you saw the 34 machine, or I believe it's the 34-32. I'm trying to remember right now. 32, Kane Lee it was. You saw him kind of drift up a little bit. Then he started coming down because the 23 started to look a little bit lower. And then they just tangled. Nothing they could do, really. I mean, the 23 had to run, tried to go for it. Hard impact right there. Almost gets up and into the catch fence with the deck lid there. Thankfully gets back down on the ground. And other drivers obviously involved. You saw one of the 10 sim stamped paint numbers there. Obviously, that is not Adam Bowden. We'll try to figure out who that is right there. But yeah, just a product right there, Jeremy. That's typical super speedway racing. Wow, what an impact there going in the 1 for the 23.
Yeah, big impact there. I don't know if he's going to get that thing repaired in time. That has to be at least some type of required repair to get that thing back up to full speed here. As you're getting wound down, we're just past halfway this event here, so I think this is a great time to do a recap of the top 10 recap presented by Nerd TV. Adam Broughton's going to be P1 here on this restart. Started second, up only 1 spot, back to first. So this 10 car has been really strong all race long, just past the halfway mark. Now he's got part 2 to deal with, and let's see what he can do for the final 40 laps. Nolan Potter, 3 spots up from 5th place into 2nd here. Showing continuous speed once again inside this top 5. The big mover right behind them, though, Kevin Ruff, started 16th. Not the best qualifying time, even though everyone's in the same 10th of a second bracket. Moving up 13 spots, putting himself in 3rd place. Then right behind him, Nathan Campbell, also a big mover up 9 positions from 13th to 4th. Then you got Matt Hayden, your pole sitter, back to 5th place on this restart. Rusty Modesty going to be in 6th place. He did start in 6th, so exactly where he left off 50 laps prior. Another big mover, Brock Potter, up 7 spots from 14th now into 7th on this restart. Blake Howell only up 1 spot from 9th to 8th. And then your last season champion, Ryan Bean, is going to be in from 17th to 9th place. And then Michael Carter actually is your 10th place car. He's starting in 10th in this race. He's going to be restarting in 10th on this restart, so no moves for him 50 laps in.
A lot of guys up at the front of the field who have really made a lot of gains since the start of this race. Obviously, a couple of the big ones being Nathan Campbell and Calvin Ruff, both up 10 and 12 spots. Also, Bob Fitzpatrick, plus 11. He's 13th. You have Alexander Hodge. He's 14th, sitting plus 14. And then Jerry Culver, plus 11, now 12. He's sitting about 15th right now. A lot of mix-up throughout this entire field, Jeremy. Nathan Potter, minus 18. Kane Lee, minus 12 after that wreck. A lot of guys. There's just enough time, though, for some more shuffling. We'll have to see how this field shuffles out towards the end of this race.
And the guy go restart zone, and green flag is out for the third time this evening. The 10 gets a decent jump with now the 45 behind him on Nathan Campbell, as he's going to try to propel him at least in front of the 34 here, and does not do it. So the 10's going to have to remain on the top side of this track. And while these guys are going through their restart here, give a quick shout out to one of our sponsors. One of our longtime sponsors here at Nerditudes is going to be Martin Sports, small company with a big time product. The home of sim gloves for all of sim racing. They make the most breathable and durable gloves on the sim market, and they don't stop there with customized t-shirts, hats, hoodies, full sublimation printing, and they have the fastest turnaround in the business as well. So give them a quick look at martinsports.gg. And oh, we got the turn by the 34, almost got hooked. Oh, here we go. The 4's around.
Go.
Big wreck here. The third caution is going to be out, presented by Roasted Gems Coffee. Initially started by the 34 getting tagged, and then the 4 had a domino effect tag behind him, sent him for a loop, and everyone else turned around behind him.
That was unfortunate right there for Brock Potter. Really nothing he could do, just created by a stack up. The 34 got sideways, and all of a sudden, next thing you know, the 4 was going right up in front of the field here. As we're going to take a look here at the Nerd TV replay, 34, and then you see right there, one of the other Toyotas just trying to come down, avoid the wreck, and unfortunately right there, just, you know, unfortunate victim there for the 4 of Brock Potter.
As we're on their TV looking at the different angles here from this wreck, the 4 just slides up across the field and nowhere to go for a lot of these guys here. The 38 piling in. Looks like the 19 potentially there. A couple other guys. So actually, Jason, I'm really surprised that there was not more than 5 or 6 cars in this one, because when the 4 came back across the track, I thought for sure there was going to be mayhem, but a lot of these guys here at RSR with great heads up, able to get around the wreck and not cause much damage.
Yeah, just cause right there, looking at that angle perfectly. And shout out to our producer, Dustin Logston, for giving us all these great camera angles here on iRacing. Kevin Ruff was pushing the heck out of the 34 of Nolan Potter going through too. And ultimately, that's what caused him to get sideways off too. Obviously, the transition from the banking down to the flat surface, and obviously just not being lined up straight completely, because one's a different angle, the other one's at a different angle, and so forth. And then the big checkup, the 4 starts laying off. Next thing you know, the 28 machine just runs right into the back of him. That is Ryan Bean, the Part 1 Season A, whatever you want to call it, champion recently, who had 10 wins last season. You see him right there, everybody checking up. The 28 starts to come in, just gets into the 4 right there, and turns Brock Potter right around in front of the field. And obviously the 28's not going to lay off. He's trying the best he can, laying off the most that he can. And there's only so much you can do if you're Ryan Bean on the 28.
Yeah, it just happened so quick there. But we're going to jump to a quick picture-in-picture commercial break before these guys get completely set up and go for the 4th restart this evening. So we'll be back with you guys momentarily. Back to full screen action here. Pace truck is about to dip down, and we're going to have the fourth restart here this time. Just like the last time, led by the number 10 of Adam Broden. Let's see what he can do here with the 45 of Nathan, who helped him be in the lead the last restart. Now going to be fighting against him on the inside line here. Green flag is underway for the 5th time this race. The 10 with an excellent start here, but the 45 has a nice little help there from Rusty Modesty there in the 6. He's going to push him real quick past the 10. The 6 is going to take that spot. The 26 of Blake Howell quickly takes that as well, and also the 99. So the 10 quickly falls back 4 to 5 spots.
Everything's getting really aggressive right now, Jeremy, especially on these restarts. You saw one of the drivers hang out the 10 car up on the top lane, left him all by himself. Then Rusty Modesty right there in the 6 machine jumped to the outside. Nathan Campbell went with them. And just like that, they're double wide. Looks just like a restart this time by the line. And in just a handful of laps, we're going to see 30 laps to go. And regardless whether there's 30 laps to go, 10 laps to go, 1 lap to go, this entire race has been crazy from flag to flag so far.
Looks like a quick 2-pack section here. The top 15 are on their own, and then about a second or so back is going to be the pack number 2. We've had a couple of wrecks now, so I think this is just a safety separation here. They're well within the draft. They can get back to this lead group, no problem, but they're going to give themselves a little extra room. So if there's another incident that happens in the front, they have more of a chance to keep themselves in safety and get away from it.
Say real quick, I just noticed something that I hadn't seen until we've seen this now. Look at that number 10 sim stamp machine right there. That metallic red car right in front of that pack. That is a Tesla paint scheme, and it looks like it's trying to, obviously be a Ford Mustang, but it's got a Tesla logo right on the front of that. Oh, we actually got a caution right now. Doesn't seem like there's any issue up at the front of the field, so this is going to be interesting, Jeremy, to see what happened here as the 4th caution of the night is out.
Yeah, Michael Sheffield in the number 1 here, coming off of turn number 4 on lap 48. Him and the 38 really just get door to door there, right off corner exit. As you're going to see right there, and just gets hooked. Almost looks like Denny Hamlin and Chase Elliott at Charlotte, where the number 1 looks like Denny Hamlin there gets hooked right into the dogleg section of the track and just absolutely destroys the car. I see a lot of smoke coming from that machine, at least on my camera angle it did. So that's heavy damage to the 1. You see it in slow motion once again. 38 comes down from the wall. I guess he just didn't know exactly where the 1 was going to be. Hooks him in the right rear and destroys the 1 there on the outside wall. That being Michael Sheffield.
Yeah, I'll do you one better. That looks like Bubba Wallace's wreck from last year from the new Atlanta Motor Speedway debut. That was almost picture perfect coming to the checkered flag if that was. And that was a hard impact for Michael Sheffield right into the outside wall. That's more than likely going to end his day. I mean, you just not tap, but if you really have a hard impact, especially on one of the sides of these race cars, it's going to knock the toe out and everything like that. We're actually going to ride in-car camera. You're going to see the helmet here probably shake. He just tries to correct it. Nothing he could do. He's looking at the fans. They're waving to him. Hard impact right there, up and into the wall. Cowl flaps do not come up. Roof flaps, though, were up. Nothing that Michael Sheffield could do right there as we look at the full speed. Hard into the wall. Boom. Everything, Jeremy, just happens so fast. Everybody says it happens fast at Daytona, Talladega, but I tell you what, ever since this new Atlanta Motor Speedway reconfiguration, everything seems to happen a whole heck of a lot faster here.
Yeah, he saw the parts just fly off that thing when he made contact with the outside wall. So more than likely, with under 40 laps to go in this race, I think actually 30 laps to go at this point, that thing is all but toast. As these guys got about a lap and a half before we go back to green flag action for the 6th time this evening, I'm going to give another quick shout out to one of the RSR sponsors, the Best One Tire and Service, the sponsor of tonight's race, and the official series sponsor for the Cup Series. So if you're looking for a one-stop automotive repair and tire shop, Best One Tire and Service helps you get the new tires, tire repairs, and auto service you need from the people you can trust. So check them out to see where their nearest location is to you by going to www.bestonetire.com. And also another quick shout out to Admin Box. Admin Box is built by iRacers for iRacers to be utilized in league and hosted races. The goal is to make race control as easy as possible for race admins, either racing or providing race control. Each admin box connects via USB and features pre-programmed commands. No key bindings required, which is awesome for beginning users. That's going to be for race control, driver function, and pit options. LED backlit, so all the buttons are vibrant, easy to see in any situation. So if you're interested in really upping your game as far as being an admin or just anything race control related, head over to adminbox, that's with 2 X's, adminbox.com, and use RSR-BOXX at checkout for 10% off. And we got a half a lap, Jason, before we go back to green flag, and I think this is knocking out any pit chance under green flag situation. So this is going to be a little sprint race here to the finish.
Yeah, we're going to have less than 29 laps to go when they come around. So we're coming around to see 28 laps to go. I want to say if there's one driver that I really think can probably pull this off here tonight, I think it's Adam Bowden. I mean, he's been up at the front all night long. They call him Evo. He's sitting there in the currently in the 5th position right there. 3rd in line on the bottom, that number 10 Caterpillar Chevrolet Camaro ZL1. I think that car has the setup, has the driver in it. I expect him to try to make his way back up towards the front and probably do something with that. And then the same thing with Rusty Monsty there, the number 6 machine. I think the 2 of those guys are going to be the ones to watch here as we're coming to the restart zone.
Let's see how the 45 does it. Will he drop back like the 10 did? He gets an excellent start here, but at super speedways, you don't want to lead out such a big lead like this, as you'll get quickly gobbled up here. 45 gets about a 4-car length advantage here over the number 6 of Rusty, and the 26 here of Blake Howell. They're side by side. But as they get back to the 45, I think the 45 is going to jump up top, so number 6 is going to take a quick shot to the bottom. And actually, to my surprise, he lifted before he got to him. So he's going to allow the 45 of Nathan Campbell to resume as your race leaders, or 3 wide with the 10 in the middle.
Well, yeah, they almost were thinking about going 4 wide right there for a minute. They were off turn number 4, but they kind of settle it back out to 3 wide again. The 5 of Matt Hayden in between the 28 of Ryan Bean. Now back towards the 2 of Zach Schrittenol right there on the bottom side. Another driver up top off turn number 2. They're still 3 wide, and this is just hurting that pack and also could create some chaos here as they work into 3. That's the 24 machine of Michael Carter there up on the outside lane off 4.
We've been 3 wide for over a lap and a half now at this point, and they finally just momentarily have settled it out here as we have 26 laps to go in this 213simware.com Atlanta race here. And things are heating up for sure. They've still got a small pack of cars there on the second pack, about a second back to your race leaders. But right now, people are swapping positions left and right, not only for the race lead, but also back there in 15th, 20th place. So everyone's trying to find their partners as they make this last push here to the finish.
Everybody's just trying to figure out who they're going to tango with to get up to the front and who they're going to tango with to try to defend this race. Kevin Ruff riding right behind Nathan Campbell, one of the drivers who made the Final 4 at the end of Part 1 for Season A, you could call it. They're running up at the front of the field. There's Rusty Monsty right there in the number 6 machine. So they're 1, 2, 3 up on the top lane. But even though he was put in the middle just a handful of laps ago, after that restart, here comes Adam Bowden, Evo, they call him, right there on the bottom side of the racetrack. He's got help from Nolan Potter, who's been up at the front all day. And also here comes the number 10 or the number 28 machine of Ryan Bean, the Part 1 season winner here just earlier a handful of months ago.
The 10 of Adam is really trying everything he can with his inside lane. The number games is on the top side of the track. It's about a 2-to-1 split right now. But the 10 is making the most of it with his partner, the 34 of Nolan Potter, right behind him. And, of course, when you got the really bad, fast 28 machine of Ryan Bean, who won 10 races last season, you know you got a good group of guys behind you to get the job done. You just got to find that momentum here as we're coming up halfway through lap 68 in this event.
Yeah, and if I'm these guys right here on the bottom lane, I'm pushing the heck out of one another. If I'm, the Potter right there also pushing the 10 of Adam Bowden, but I'm also side drafting the guys up on the outside down these straightaways, and especially the back straightaway. It's only a short distance, but you got to do something because that outside lane has so many cars up on the top of it. If you want to get to the front, you're going to have to pack some air on that left rear if you're Adam Bowden.
You're going to have to do something here. As they're approaching 20, 21 laps to go. And this, oh, the number 10 gets hooked by the 34. Keep it down on the flat, which he barely does.
Wow.
Great save there by the 10 of Adam. But unless there's
Look at the
oh,
crash.
there is a caution. That's going to help him out. Huge damage here to the, looks like the 21 sliding down to the front stretch. That's a Toyota Camry of Stephen Rake. I know, actually, I'm going to apologize about that. You said number 2, so it'll be Zach, yeah. Zach Stretton all there. Engine damage. He is done for this evening.
That was a hard impact to the outside wall, but real quick, what a heck of a job by the 10 machine. I started to see him kind of start to drift a little bit low down the back straightaway. And oh, this was just created by the 8. I think he might have gotten up into the outside wall, got loose. 2 up off the ground. Roof flaps deployed. Everybody does a great job saving it. The 8 unfortunately collected, but no further damage after contact with the outside wall. And the 2, wow, what a job right there by the 32 machine of Kane Lee to get around that. He's back out as well. So good job on him, and good job by these guys behind him to get it slowed down enough and not create an arc or brake situation down the stretch.
And you see the number 2 just getting to pit road and seeing what the team can possibly do. But we talked about it in the Martin Sports pre-race there, Jason. The push effect, after a long run, but we have not had that. So I was really surprised to see the 8 and the 18, led by Tony Ludi, on the upper half of the track to enter turn 3, which is the corner I said to watch out for, and they slid over an entire lane up into the outside wall, gets that wall glue, and when they came back down the track, that's where things ensued. So we're going to get a little slow-mo action. There's the 10 down on the bottom. As the camera pans over, you're going to see the white car slaps the outside wall, who just went outside your left-hand side of your screen there, hits the wall. See the 18 come down off the wall glue. The 8 finally gets rid of the wall glue, shoots down like a cannon into the 2 of Zach, and that's where the wreck happens. So it's just a simple mistake of misjudging how much grip he had entering turn 3, hit the wall glue, and it was on from there.
Let's see if we can get an onboard from Nolan Potter down the back straightaway there when he was pushing Adam Bowden, because there was no contact from that outside lane to Adam Bowden's right side there. So down the back straightaway, I don't know if it was just air. Maybe he thought he was going to make contact, got moved, or maybe there was some contact there with Nolan Potter. But, just the way that he abruptly shot to the left wasn't bad, but he still shot to the left here. Great shots right here by our producer, Dustin Longston. Down the back straightaway, you see the 10 getting close in. Oh, and yeah, there is some contact right there. He starts to get a little aero disadvantage right there from the outside lane, sucking him back right there. And unfortunately, the 34 makes contact with the left rear. You do not want to hit guys in the left rear or the right rear, especially down the straightaways, entering corners especially. And that's a big, big no-no, is pushing in the corners on the right rear or the left rear. And that's unfortunately how the 10 was able to get sideways, but thankfully saved it.
The 45 this time, and Nathan Campbell elects to take the outside line for this restart. The last one where he got such a great launch was from the bottom there. So kind of mixing it up on us here. See if he can't get the best run possible here, as we're going to be under 20 laps to go on this restart.
Yeah, now you're looking up at the front of the field here. The guys who are up at the front have basically been there almost all race long, ever since they made it up there. Nathan Campbell, Kevin Ruff, Rusty Monsty, Ryan Bean, a couple other drivers as well. They've made their way up to the front. When they did, they pretty much stayed there. Only a handful of guys who were up at the front really have kind of drifted back, especially Adam Bowden. He's got to be really careful if he wants to try to make his way back up to the front. I think if I'm Adam Bowden right here, especially on this restart, knowing he's got no damage, no nothing, wasn't involved in a wreck, just a small little incident, no biggie there, didn't go around. He still has those tires, even though he had to really break down into turn number 3. I think if you're Adam Bowden, Jeremy, you have to be really careful. If I'm him, I'm waiting for these guys to wreck up in front.
And we're going to see here as we're about to get the green flag as soon as they get into this Geico restart zone for the 7th time. Green flag is out the 45, back-to-back restarts. He gets a great jump here. The guys in the back actually have a struggle here as they're going to quickly kind of fan back out there into 2 packs momentarily. But the 45 heads help directly from the 99 of Kevin Ruff here. Coming through 1 and 2, elect to go to the top half of the track and leave the 6 all by himself down there at the bottom here.
Yeah, what a move right there to the inside of the racetrack was the 5 of Matt Hayden. He went from top to bottom, split them right there. But now he's got really no help behind him. But here comes Rusty Monstein, the 6 car, finally gets to his bumper, kind of creates a check up the outside lane, formulated just a little bit more. And with 17 laps to go, the race is on, the fight is on to get up to the front of the field. Part 1 season winner, Ryan Bean up at the front now, running in third. He's got some help around him from some of his teammates, but he's going to have all the help he can get if he wants to make it up to the front here.
The outside right now, it's going to be basically where we want to be, unless you can get some good amount of friends there on the bottom to make that push. That's basically where you're going to leapfrog someone, is if you're going to make that run on the bottom, because right now the top side just continues to be the way you want to go around this track here. As we got 15 laps to go coming up this time by, as we got a little block action there blocking the 57. I couldn't make out who that was. I think maybe the 24, possibly a Michael Carter, but they figured it out. But it does check up the bottom a little bit, so it's going to continue to allow the outside to make that momentum gain here as they do cross the line.
Yeah, and I'm sure that those Stealth Motorsports guys of Ryan Bean and Nathan Campbell, they want to shuffle out Kevin Ruff quickly, and they want to do it pretty swiftly. So I expect those guys to probably ride around here a little bit more, maybe try to make a move to shuffle out the 99 so that they're the front 2. And there's a move right there to the bottom. Here comes Nolan Potter in the 34 machine. He's another one of those Stealth Motorsports guys trying to join his teammates up inside the top 3. Doesn't have the help. He'll drift back and now get put 3 wide. What a move right there. And the 5 machine entering down into turn number 1, splits the middle, not 1, but now 2 times. Will he do it a 3rd time? And if so, will that be the time he goes around? Everybody getting super aggressive here with just under 14 to go.
18 of Stephen Baldwin did hit the wall off the exit of turn number 4. Does not look like it's affected his car at all. And man, that 34 of Nolan Potter just had a big run there off turn 4 onto the front stretch, but no help, and he just fell back all the spots he gained and then some. But now he's dropped behind, or in front of rather, the 24 of Michael Carter, and now with him in the 57 and the 3 behind them, they have to get this move going as they go 3 wide here with the 6 in the middle momentarily. They go back to 2 wide. Nope, actually the guy behind him is going to make the 3 wide continue. That's going to be the number 5 there of Matt Hayden, as the 26 is starting to fall back with no help on that 3rd lane.
Blake Howell tried to move to the outside lane, had some help there off turn number 2 just last time around. Then everybody filed down to the bottom in the middle side of the racetrack off turn number 2 down the back straightaway. But now he's back 3 wide right now with the 18, Stephen Baldwin Jr., also Nolan Potter there. 3 wide entering turn number 3, and this is just allowing the top 5 guys to kind of scoot away here as they're coming to 11 laps to go this time by.
How are these guys still 3 wide? I have no idea. The 26 all by himself. Blake Howell making it happen, just utilizing. Oh, and he barely cuts in front of the 18. I don't know how he knew he was clear. He just had maybe a sheet of paper or 2 of thickness between his bumper and the 18, but able to make it happen. Goes 2 wide now. Now it's just 2 by 2 all the way back through, except for your top 5, who's got themselves about a 10-car length separation.
A little bit of a separation, and also Blake Howell has a little bit of toe here, and he's going to bring that pack behind him in as well. So they're going to close the gap in on those top 5. Now make it top 6 guys very fast. And with Nolan Potter's huge run here off turn number 2, he's surely going to get to the back bumper of Blake Howell here, whether it be into 3 here. Not enough momentum that time by. Never mind. Yes, he does. All the way to the inside of the racetrack, trying to join his Stealth Motorsports teammates up at the front. He'll get side by side with Matt Hayden. He has help behind him. They're looking to go 3 wide down the front straightaway, back to 2 now, heading into turns 1 and 2, 9 laps to go this time by.
Nolan Potter still on the bottom, really wants something to happen down here, but does not have the friends that he needs to make this happen. As you see one guy, I think the 26, he's going to jump down to the bottom, being Michael. He's going to have the 18 quickly get to the back bumper of him. And now these guys are side by side for 3rd place. This might be exactly what the inside line needs here, as we have 8 laps to go.
Laps to go, and it's still Nathan Campbell, Kevin Ruff, and Ryan Bean up in the top 3 podium positions right now. The 26, Blake Howell, still trying to make that bottom side work. He's getting the heck pushed out of him here down the back straightaway arrow-wise. That's the 18, Stephen Baldwin, right on his rear bumper, gets a little bit tight. Everybody drifts up the racetrack. This time by coming down. 7 laps to go here in Atlanta.
Nolan made an abrupt move to the top and barely had the room. He made it happen, so he's now on the preferred lane as far as the overall speed goes. And this inside still continuing to try to figure out who is going to be our leader, because right now no one wants to be there. Right now the 16 of Mac Upbrook currently leading the way right in front of the 26 there of Blake Howell. It's the first time we've seen the 16 up here in the top 5. Let's see what he has in store for these guys down the final few laps.
He might have just what it takes. Up 14. Oh, crashed in the back right there. Sideways up in front of the field. Major wreck through the tri-oval. Couple of guys involved, making a lot there heading through the tri-oval. Saw one car get sideways, shot at a line, overcorrected and shot right back up in front of the field.
Richard Gonzalez looks like was the start of those. We're 3 wide with the 80 and the 21 here. Looks like the 9 just kind of moves up, and maybe actually the 80 came down at the same time. So 2 different cars fighting for the same exact real estate here. Makes that contact. You see it right there. And then boom, makes some more contact. And now they're spinning down the front straightaway. Looks about 4 cars are going to be involved in this one overall. There's just a cluster there on the bottom half of the track. And a couple of these guys that are really far behind, able to escape no problem.
Yeah, and obviously that was just a product of those guys. Even though there were some below the racing line, iRacing would not throw a caution for that. But because of the one driver being up on top of the racing surface and also admin cautions as well, that's what ultimately caused the caution to be thrown there through the tri-oval. So at least these guys didn't really start a multi-melee, because right there when we saw that 9 car get shot, Jeremy, I thought it, and I'm sure you did too, I thought that was going to be a massive, massive wreck down the front straightaway. Only ended up collecting 4 cars, and even so, there was not a lot of damage to those cars.
I really expected more again as well, but this time happened more in the center to tail end of the field, so less chance, but I still thought it was going to be more than 4 here, involving the number 80 of Alonzo King, the number 11 of Alexander Hodge, the number 9 of Richard Gonzalez, and the number 7 of Harold Rothery. 4 guys involved in this one. And Jason, these are going to stack these guys up for not an official green-white checker attempt, but it's going to be really close. You see one car zoom by the top side. I think presumably it's going to be our hashtag Get a Grip Lucky Dog Award winner here.
I mean, and right here, when we're going to come down right to the line here, we're going to see if they do, in fact, have the pace truck lights go out. And if that's the case, this will not be an official green-white checkered attempt. And we only have 2 attempts here over in the RSR Next Generation Cup Series. As you see right there, Justin Hedry gets the Martin Sports Get a Grip Lucky Dog Award right there as he works his way around 1 and 2. So shout out to him for at least somewhat being clean here tonight. Obviously, you want to make sure that you just survive at these super speedways. But Jeremy, if these guys don't get the 1-to-go signal when they come around right here, it's going to be the first attempt at a green-white checker. That makes it all the more stressful, knowing that if there's another caution, you're only going to get one more chance to go out here and get a win or get the finish that you think you deserve.
Yeah, it's going to be action-packed here on this restart. Those past 10, 15 laps, there was a lot of movement in that field. So I would, in this short amount of period left in this race, I'm really going to expect a lot more of the same here as we're getting these cars lined up here for potentially the final restart. We're going to go over our weekly broadcast schedule. If you're liking what you're seeing now, we do this Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesdays. Full Throttle Sim Racing Series on Monday and Wednesday, the same exact time as you caught this race here tonight for RSR Next Generation Cup Series. So if you want to, help boost the product a little bit here, please join in tomorrow for the Martin Sports Truck Series at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific, or Central Time rather. So appreciate you joining in right now. Still got about 20 viewers, so awesome to see that. But I think it's going to be more awesome, Jason, to see this restart here. The 45 is going to be the leader on this restart for the 3rd consecutive time. Can he hold this lead this time when everyone else is hungry for this victory?
Tell you what, if Nathan Campbell from Stealth Motorsports right here on this restart, if he gets Ryan Bean, his teammate, to be right there to push him when it matters most, I think they can do something with this. But if Nathan Campbell does fire out of the Geico restart zone with the head of steam like he's been doing these past few restarts as the leader, he's going to be a sitting duck, man, and they're going to eat him up like it's lunch. And it's going to be really interesting to see if he's going to block, if he's going to stick to his teammate, or if he's just going to fend for himself here as we're coming to the restart zone. But Nathan Campbell, Kevin Ruff, front row, 2 laps to go. Who's going to get it, Jeremy?
We're going to see here, green flag is out here for the 7th time, and the 45 continues to get an excellent start. This time, Ryan Bean in the 20th is going to be right to his bumper here as they go through turn 1, and unlike previous restarts, Jason, this thing quickly single filed out for the top 10 here before you get back to the 2x2 action. But let me tell you, here in a half a lap, it's going to all change up.
To change right there at a line. There goes Potter. Oh, 1 car back straightaway around, and it looks like the caution will come out. Other drivers, I believe, are getting involved. If not, it looked to only be a 1-car incident, 7th caution of the night. And Jeremy, this is going to lead us to our first attempt at a green-white checkered finish.
Yeah, 1 car got hooked early. The 94 of Steve Potter there going down the back straightaway. Looks like he just came down to shift in position right in front of the 24 of Michael Carter, and just hooked himself, sent himself to the inside wall. Nothing the 24 did wrong. It's just the 94 tried to make a move, and thankfully when he came back up the track, and you're going to catch it on the Nerd TV slow motion replay here, you see it directly from the turn 3 camera, just comes down the track, finds the 24's right front fender, comes down to the inside wall, does not make contact, and this is the cool part. Comes up, and nobody gets hit, sliding halfway up the surface. Excellent heads up once again by this field.
He was able to go it. I mean, man should probably go compete for an X Games medal if it was in this sim. So good job there by the number 94 machine of Steve Potter right there heading into turn number 3. But Jeremy, this is going to lead us to our first attempt here of a green-white checker finish. And remember, like we talked about earlier, only 2 attempts. So these guys know it's go time. 1 more caution, and it's only 1 more attempt. You're going to have 1 more chance to go out here and compete for the opening race of part 2 for 2023. So if you're Nathan Campbell, Ryan Bean, what do you do right here? Your 2 teammates, you're going to be lining up side by side right here practically. So one's going to have to let the other one in if they want to try to get lined up. And they don't really have anybody around them, obviously looking right now from the teams and then obviously the leaderboards, they're not going to have any teammates around them. The next teammate they have is Nolan Potter, who's back in 6th. So this is going to set up for an interesting restart. It's going to be basically Stealth Motorsports versus the field here when we do go back green.
And the 7 of Harold Rother, you just saw him on your screen pass there. That's going to be your hashtag Get a Grip Lucky Dog Award winner this time here. He's going to go from 2 laps down to just 1. And if he catches 1 more caution, well, maybe he'll be back on the lead lap. We're going to do a last quick shout out to our last sponsor here. Blake Howell Designs is your one-stop shop for all your iRacing design needs. Need a one-of-a-way kind to showcase your sponsors, then look no further than Blake Howell Designs. If I can talk, that would be awesome. Their staff will work with you to create your own vision so you can look like a winner around every corner of every track that you go to, and that's at Blake H Designs. And Jason, to kind of go off what you were saying and kind of what I'm noticing here is that 28 Ryan Bean, excellent restarter, and he's not controlling the restarts. He's matching the leader's timing. Now he's alongside the 45, so as the 45 chooses the outside, if the 28 can match once again that 45's restart, we might have a drag race here to this victory.
Yeah, well, I guarantee you the 6 and the 26 right there, Rusty Modesty, and also I believe that looks to be, like I said, the 26 machine of Blake Howell. They're going to want to be right up on his back bumper. So this is going to be interesting. You're going to have a Toyota being pushed by a Ford, being pushed by a Chevy. So this might not work out the best. Everybody doesn't really have any corresponding drivers lined up to push with good bumpers, except that 6 to push the 45. And he can push that 45 out front in front of the 28 machine here when they go to the restart. So it's going to be interesting to see if the 45 jumps down. Will the 6 and the 26 build a good enough run here by pushing him? Will they be able to compete here coming down when they head into 1?
You see the diversity here. First row, both Toyotas. Second row, both Ford Mustangs. Third row, both Chevrolet Camaros. But the green flag is out. The 45 actually gets a great launch over the 28 this time, able to clear him before even the start-finish line. And the rule book says after you cross that line, you can shift your position. That's what he did. Nathan Campbell drops in front of the 28 here. And let's see if they can get another lap and a half, a green flag here. But the top 5, top 10 really in their own little group here. So not as strong as a pack here as it was this last restart. 4 cars, or actually 6 cars now, single file for this lead.
Kevin Ruff, I'm trying to make a move, and sure enough, he does. He's going to separate the 2 Stealth Motorsports drivers, but he's got no help on the bottom side of the racetrack. White flag is out. 1 lap to go. Tries to shift up. Not going to be enough. 3 wide going into turns 1 and 2 for the final time, but it's all Nathan Campbell, Ryan Bean, and Blake Howell up at the front of the field here down the back straightaway.
After 6th place, it's now 2-2, but actually we got a little 3 wide 10 split in the middle, makes the move happen, but the leaders are going to choose the outside of turns 3 and 4 to get to the checkered flag, and it looks like Nathan Campbell in the 45 is going to win the season opener here at the 213simware.com Atlanta race. Excellent job there by Nathan Campbell. Congratulations.
Really all product of the 45 having a great restart and having a teammate behind him. I think if he would have not had a teammate behind him right there, that would have never happened, because if you look at the guys up inside the top 5 and even further back, no teammates around those guys. Next teammate from Stealth Motorsports you got to go find is Brock Potter, who comes home in the 8th position. So good job by Nathan Campbell to get the restart he deserved right there, and good job by Ryan Bean on being a great teammate.
That was one of the most well-deserved wins I have seen on a super speedway, coming from 13th quickly to the front, leading the last 4 restarts and just controlling the field. He had so much help behind him. Not much passing was done to the 45. That car had the leading setup for sure in the pack. And so just well done and well-deserved for the 45. Nathan, he's going to burn it down here on the front stretch of the virtual Atlanta Motor Super Speedway. This is our time to bring up the unofficial results here, presented by Admin Box. We're going to go down the running order here. Nathan Campbell winning this thing, obviously, P1. Ryan Bean's going to come back to season 2 just as strong as he did the first season. Going to be finishing in 2nd. 3rd place, Blake Howell. 4th place, Rusty Modesty. 5th place, Matt Hayden. 6th, Kane Lee. 7th, Adam Broughton. 8th, Brock Potter. 9th place, Stephen Rake. And tonight's top 10 guy, Bob Fitzpatrick.
Top 20 here tonight. Kevin Ruff, after being up at the front all night, comes home P11, just shy of a top 10. Alex Hodge comes home 12th. Matt Opbroick comes home 13th tonight. Stephen Baldwin Jr. 14th. Brian Fine comes home in a nice, fine top 15 position. Andrew Little finishes 16th there in the 68. Jerry Culver comes home 17th tonight. Jimmy Fitzmaurice comes home 18th. Alonzo King Jr. 19th. And Anthony Ludi comes home in the top 20 position.
21st belongs to Richard Gonzalez. 22nd, Michael Carter. 23rd, James Cortron. 24th, Nolan Potter, 25th, Steve Potter. 26th, and 1 lap down, Harold Rothery. 27th, Justin Hendry. 28th, Harold Watkins. 29th, Michael Martino. 30th, Zach Sredenstriel. I butchered that one. I do apologize. 31st, Anthony Yuns. 32nd, Michael Sheffield. 33rd, James Wright. And tonight's last guy in the field, Stan Carnathan in the 82. And it is our time to go to full screen commercial break. We're going to gather up tonight's top 3 and get a word with them, get their final thoughts for the next race. We'll be back with you momentarily. Welcome everyone to the full screen post-race show presented by Martin Sports. As we're going to talk to our tonight's top 3 guys and get their final thoughts on this 90-lap race at the virtual Atlanta Motor Speedway. And first one to come in is going to be the number 26 of Blake Howell. Blake, do you have a copy?
I think he's muted right now.
Let's see if we can get him unmuted here. Blake, this is Jeremy in the Nerd TV booth. You have a copy? Okay. Okay. So actually, a little bit of technical difficulties trying to talk to our guys here. As our channel, I guess, does not have the ability to talk. So we're going to have to get that figured out for just a moment. So while that's being worked on, Jason, we'll just do our final thoughts first here, see if we can talk to him afterwards. Give us your take on this Atlanta race.
I mean, we saw a lot of respect being given. Obviously, you get down to the end of these races and stuff like that. You're going to see a lot more guys starting to be a lot more aggressive than usually throughout the first and second part, of the races all the way to the last third of the race. That's when everything starts to get crazy. And sure enough, we did. It only took us one attempt at overtime. Applaud to these guys over here in the ERL RSR Next Generation Cup Series on being clean there at the end. And it really was about if you had a good handling race car, but not really in a sense, just because we only ran 90 laps. But really, big key thing here tonight was who you had helping with you. If you did not have help, you could not make it up to the front. And surely enough, Nathan Campbell, Ryan Bean, they came up plus 12, plus 15, and even Blake Howell plus 6 from where they started. All guys who went positive here tonight in the running order. I mean, the first one all the way back goes to Matt Hayden, only in 5th. So really, there was a lot of scrambling up at the front. And most of the guys who finished inside the top 20 were all guys who really were on the positive side. So it just went to show you track position and having help behind you and in front of you meant everything all night long. And if it wasn't for Ryan being there and Nathan Campbell's great restart, those two probably would not be sitting here 1-2 tonight.
Yeah, I really love how diverse this field was. The 45, he had a lot of friends, a lot of different people helping him. The inside shifted momentum, the outside shifted momentum. There's a lot of mix up there. It wasn't just 1 or 2 guys, at least in the first half of the race. There was just a bunch of people just mixing up. And it was great to see for as us calling the race, but also our viewers that were watching tonight, which once again, appreciate you for tuning in for the season opener for us here and for the series for part 2 of their 2023 season. Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Produced a lot of racing action. The outside line had a couple wall glue instances again, which I was kind of surprised to see that. I figured being a little shorter on time there, you kind of maybe stay away from that because there's less time to recover. But all in all, produced an excellent race.
Yeah, definitely did for sure, and I absolutely loved it. And Dustin, first time over here for RSR. We had our work cut out for us tonight. I told you to get me some camera angles here and there here tonight.
I got you some camera angles.
You did. You got me a lot of good camera angles, but nevertheless, I mean, what a great race here tonight. Really clean, really respectful, and really just a lot of aggressive racing there at the end that somehow, some way went clean up at the front. We didn't really see any big wrecks up at the front. It all happened in the middle, the back of the pack.
Yeah, it was good racing all the way around. It really was. I mean, we had good long stint runs there all the way through. Like you said, it wasn't really any one mistake except for the cat. I think it was Stan Carnathan that was the cat's mistake on that one there. But I mean, otherwise it was just, racing deals, close racing. I mean, there was a number of them that were 3 wide deals. And I mean, hell, for a lot of the times they held it so good. I mean, you're talking a lap and a half, 2 laps, 3 wide at this track at full speed. Just insane.
Yeah, it was really awesome. And just the 3 wide, every time I see 3 wide here at Atlanta, the new configuration, I just think, oh, it's going to be a wreck. And which we did see one of those. But for the most part, it was clean, especially at the end. I saw the 10 split the gap where his car probably shouldn't have fit, and they came through clean. And I was like, man, okay, I love that. And so if that's something that we're going to be seeing all season long here at RSR, I'm going to be looking forward to calling all the action here. But I don't think the issue has been fixed in the server for the drivers to talk to us. So I think we're going to close it out here, and maybe on next Tuesday, we should be able to get that fixed for you guys here.
We will have it squared
maybe,
away.
Yeah, squared away. Maybe you can do a double dip on at least with the race winner, Nathan Campbell, because I'd love to get his thoughts on this race here for sure. But each and every time we close out our broadcast, we're going to put our sponsors on the right-hand side of your screen to shout out everyone here tonight. First and foremost, we're going to thank RSR, the Next Gen Cup Series, for ERL. Thank you for letting us do this for you guys now. Every single Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central, you're going to find us here calling all the action. And this series is one of the title series running under the Evolution Racing League banner. So stay up to date on all the racing news by visiting their Facebook at facebook.com/RSR League. Best One Tire and Service. You're looking for your one-stop automotive repair shop and tire shop? Visit bestonetire.com to find a location nearest you. Admin Box, I should say, is built by iRacers for iRacers to be utilized in league and hosted races by admins and race control. Find them at adminbox.com, and once again, that's with 2 X's. Blake Howell Designs. Need a one-of-a-way kind of showcase your sponsors and look no further than Blake Howell Designs, and you're going to find him on Instagram at BHR_sim racing. Martin Sports, top quality apparel to make you look stylish and feel comfortable. See their whole apparel lineup at martinsports.gg. iRacing iFlag, notifications a fraction of a second faster without ever leaving the focus from your racing on your screen, and you're going to find them at iracingiflag.com. Please check out the full apparel line or product lineup. They got pretty cool stuff to complete your sim rig. Got the butt kicker, the ultimate feel from the sim car with the haptic response system that connects directly to your sim seat or anything that you're really sitting in to bring all the bumps, from the track directly into your seat. And find them at thebuttkicker.com. And lastly, second to last, Team Watson Racing setups, quality professional built setups for all your asphalt oval needs. Find them at teamwatsonracing.com. And then lastly, Roasted Gems, premium coffee beans roasted just for you. And find them at roastedgems.com. All right, guys, awesome to call the action here this Tuesday, and looking forward for the rest of the season. You guys get your nerd on, and as always, stay safe out there. We'll catch you next Tuesday.